Hey guys, so I wanted to show an adjustment of the throttle position switch, which was the cause of a really rough and erratic idle, especially when the car was cold. I would just kind of, RPMs would flutter and just whole car felt like it was missing. And I had read that the throttle position switch could be the cause of that, and indeed it was. This is a 1985 535i. If you have a 528E, the connector, the harness for the throttle position switch is in a different spot, I believe. But on this one, how it works, so I've got my voltmeter here set up on continuity, so that if I just touch the tip, oops, it'll make a beeping sound, right? And so what you do is remove this connector here, pulled out on the little switch right there, and just wiggle this loose. Come on. Oh, I'm sorry. Push it in. It was supposed to be locked anyway. Yeah, push it in and then pull it out. Once in here, also make sure these connections are real clean. I used deoxit and cleaned mine. One of these was really corroded. So once you have that disconnected, you'll notice here there are actually little pin numbers here: 2, 18, and 3, left to right. The way this works is it's got 3 positions. It's got idle, and then somewhere between idle and full throttle, and then full throttle. And so at idle, these two outer, the left two, pins 18 and 2 should have continuity between them when you're at idle. And mine did not. There was no sound at all. And then when you're at full throttle, when you put the throttle all the way over here or close to it, the right 2 pins, number 18 and 3, should make a sound, should have continuity, okay? So if they don't, if these two or these two don't make continuity when they're supposed to, then you just loosen that screw, and there's one down here which I found is easier to come under here to get a straighter shot at it. I just loosen that, and I had to rotate, sorry, my video stopped. I had to rotate mine clockwise a little bit in order for that the idle switch to engage at idle. And when I did that, reconnected it, and man, it was just like night and day difference on how smooth it ran. And also I noticed when you're driving, it's a stick shift, when you're between gears, the RPMs drop really quick now, whereas they used to kind of slowly drop. It's a little different. I've just got to get used to it. It's how it's supposed to be, I'm sure. Anyway, and that is it then. Once you get that adjusted, put this back on, and like I say, pull that out to lock it. I had it backwards. Didn't reconnect it properly whenever I was working on it earlier. And then also, if you haven't already done it, check your idle control valve back here. It's a matter of just disconnecting hose there and down here, and then disconnect this wire back here, the harness. Clean that real good with deoxit, and then if your key is in the on position, this should make kind of a humming, a vibration, and mine does. It's one way to tell that it's working. Also, when you take it out though, when you disconnect and take it out, you'll be able to look inside, and there's a little piston, like a little wheel, or valve, I'm sorry. And you can stick a screwdriver in there and just make sure that valve spins real freely. If it doesn't, you can clean it with carburetor cleaner, and then put it back in there. The way to tell if it's working, besides just the humming, is after, and I haven't done this test, but essentially get the car up to operating temperature, and then you disconnect the valve down, the hose on the bottom side down here, and I guess rotate it up, and you look and see that the valve should have covered the hole, the opening, about halfway. And whenever I took mine off earlier, it was in that halfway position from driving it before. So when you first take it off, I guess look in there and see if the valve looks like it's covering the little opening about halfway. So between all that, you can kind of make sure that that's working properly. And then the other thing to check while you're in here is the airflow sensor here, the harness connecting on the back. Just clean that really good. Make sure the contacts, and also if you take off this elbow right here, inside there's a big flapper, like a gate. Just make sure that moves freely throughout its entire range of motion. If it doesn't, then that's another potential problem. So while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and mention, I've mentioned in another video, I'll mention it again here. If you haven't replaced your coolant temperature sensor, which is this last one on the left, that can cause problems. This car would die after about 10 minutes of driving. I mean, just almost on the dot. it was crazy. And it was because this was sending incorrect voltage to the computer, and I was able to test it with the voltmeter through the Bentley manual and could verify that, yeah, the voltages weren't perfect, weren't where they should be. So and the cheap part too, I have another video on just talking about the replacement of all the whole cooling system and the water pump. And while I was in there, since the fluid was already drained, I went ahead and replaced the coolant temperature sensor. Makes sense to go ahead and do that. The thermo time switch here can also cause some problems running, but I don't think mine is. I haven't tested it, but I don't have a reason to believe it's bad. So I think I'm going to leave that alone. Anyway, hopefully this was helpful. The Bentley manual is awesome. I always have it right here. Between that and my E28, it's nice to have all those resources, information. If you got any questions, put them in the comments, and I probably won't know the answer, but I'll try. All right, thanks guys, bye.